driving schools. And of course, if you do have your driver's license...
Sorry.
Okay, aside. No problem. No problem. Yesterday was this one. Today's this one. All right. Yes, driving schools, because, well, if you have a driver's license, you had to go through the driving school. Unless you're like 95 years old. I think like back in the day, they would just kind of give you a driver's license without you needing to do anything, right? There's this time and place and moment where it didn't matter. They just give it to you. You would like go there and they give you a driver's license. You didn't need to pass a test or anything like that. You just had it. Not just your driver's license for an automobile. No, the one for a motorcycle too. And a boat. Imagine how dangerous that is. Everybody just had driver's license for everything without needing to pass any sort of test. Bam. I'm talking in the time of my grandparents, for me, but for you it might be like, you know, your parents or your great-grandparents. Yeah, your father, right? Your father just went there and just got a driver's license for boat, motorcycle, and automotives. You would. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's true. Trucks too. Like the six gears and all that. You would just get that driver's license.
My father told me that he asked you what do you want.
Oh, so that's how it would go. You would just what you want to drive? I'm gonna give you the paper so that you can drive everything you want, anything. So I would say that's people over maybe 65, right? That might have had that, because I knew some people over 60, and then they stopped doing that. That was in Quebec, but if you are from anywhere else in the world, well, welcome to the podcast. While you wait for your electric vehicle to charge, we entertain you and we bring you crazy information about electric vehicles and a little bit of psychology, a little bit of philosophy about EVs and where the world is going with all of this technology. I'm Piper and I'm with...
Sai.
Yeah, and we are here on Two Girls, One Electric Car. We're talking about driving. Yes, mostly driving schools hate electric vehicles. But let's do a little recap. Yeah, let's go back down memory lane. Meaning that if you are from anywhere in the world and you do own a driver's license, you might have heard these stories about people just going to the driver's license agency and getting a driver's license. So in Quebec, that is a province in Canada on the East Coast. Well, you would just go there and ask for, I want to be able to drive a truck, like a semi. And they'd be like, okay, they give it to you. I want to be able to drive a motorcycle. They'd be like, okay, they give it to you. You want to drive a boat? No problem, we give it to you too. They just put all that on that piece of paper and then you were good to go. No test, no do you need glasses, no measuring your height, eye color. No, none of that. Just like get the paper and then you're good to go. Imagine that. So all of these people were literally driving everywhere on any type of vehicle. You might argue that, well, there was less people on the roads back then, and that's kind of true. If we're talking about car per people, I think like if we're talking in the 1960s, there was less car per people in that sense. Probably, mostly, maybe. But yeah. Sai, did you know about that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, that they would just give out like driver's license like candy, right?
I mean, I think before it was much easier to do all of that anyway, because people were just simpler and there wasn't so much like people trying to scam everyone or like be like, so the more scams happen and stuff like that, the more they put like more safety barriers and stuff like that. So I think that's what. Whenever everything is new, you don't think of what could possibly go wrong. When things start getting wrong, that's when you put the safety barriers in.
So when you start getting to accidents because you don't really know how to drive a boat.
Exactly, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't allow that person to drive.
Maybe we should just not give these driver's license in Cracker Jack boxes.
Exactly, yeah. It's not candy.
Yeah, not candy.
Exactly.
So you don't know anybody who had a driver's license like that?
No, we never talk about driver's license ever.
I know, because you don't have one, right?
So it never occurs to me to ask people, was it easy?
Oh.
Because I'm like, I don't care. I don't have a car.
So it doesn't matter if you failed the test or got the test right.
No, but there are people that I've heard like personally that talk about how hard it was and they failed in the first try and or the instructor wasn't very nice. I'm like, okay.
Oh, so that did not make you want to go and get your driver's license
Nothing
more?
has made me go. I'm ready. I'm like open to be convinced, to be like, oh, it's a good idea. You should do it. I still haven't found anyone that could convince me.
Okay. So, well, we're going to try to convince Sai to get her driver's license. That's your mission for today's podcast. Super easy. The podcast is aired in its live format at 12 p.m. Vancouver time from Monday to Friday. So make sure that you tune in at that time so that you can write to us live comment sections. Way more fun that way. And then, of course, don't worry if you're not there in the live format. You can always click on us whenever you want on the podcast playlist that is called While You Wait for your EV to charge. Well, there is a Chris Pankert who is here. Hey, Chris, what up? Safety, number one reason. Well, that's the thing. If you give driver's license to everybody and anybody, and you don't do tests, you don't do like physical assessment of them. I mean, because if you were to give like driver's license to anybody, and maybe these people, they can't see. Maybe some of them are actually like autistic. I don't know. They have like real issues, you know?
Just my mother.
Or just your mother. Just her. Just her. Maybe should not have a driver's license. I mean, I heard this story that my grandma would drive with 2 feet. You know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of older people would drive with 2 feet. So that means that, if you don't know what that means, like driving with 2 feet means that you would have 1 foot on the gas pedal and 1 foot on the brake pedal.
But is that not good?
Well, you don't want to do that because you accelerate and then you push on, off, on, off, on, off. When you have 1 foot on brake and 1 foot on gas, and you just like, you go like a squeegee a little bit, like a windshield wiper, like this. But you're actually not doing both at the same time. You're decelerating because you're taking your feet off of the accelerator and then you're braking. But if you have 1 foot on each, you can accelerate while you brake.
Is that good?
But no, it creates this kind of like effect.
Is it hard for the car as well? Is it like...
But it's not so much the car. I think it's for the people in the car.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a thing like older people used to do. If you're my grandma, who's dead right now because she was old, like really old. Well, I mean, this is something that we would hear because cars were just very different in the 1950s, right? This is completely different. Doesn't mean that you had to drive with 2 feet, but it's just if there wasn't any driving instructor or anything like that, you just give somebody a car and they would do whatever they want with it. So there was no right way to drive. There was just, you would go in the car and figure out how you should drive it. Not that much like hard, like that easy.
Chris Pankert is saying, imagine you're with your mom or dad and they have a medical emergency side. You will beat the ambulance in most cases. That boat has sailed, Chris. That boat has sailed. That would never happen.
So it's not a car, it's a boat now. It's not
That
a boat.
is not a scenario I will ever be in.
So this is perfect. Plus, we're living in a city. You don't really need. You just call the actual first responders, right? 911. Here in Canada, it's 911. If you're in other places in the world, it's maybe 211. Doesn't really matter. Just know that extension, like that little phone number, so that you can literally call it. I think, is it in the UK? It's like 1.
What?
Like they just press 1.
Yeah, I think
So
it
there's
is
like so
that.
many ways this could go wrong,
Yeah,
right? You just
yeah.
press that 1 digit and then you call the first responders. Imagine the amount of not real calls they might have.
Yeah, that is the thing. That is like super annoying. Like I hate when people mess with these kind of things, like first responders or 911, like just to prank call because it'd be so funny. It's not funny. Some things are just not funny. Yeah, it's not funny in any scenario because people are actually getting killed sometimes, you know? Get off the phone, bro. Yeah, so...
So we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. Snoopy says Flintstone driving. Yeah, you remember Flintstone driving? So the Flintstones, they had these cars, which is weird because they lived with dinosaurs, you know. That totally happened in human history. And they were like driving on their feet, a bit like, what was that vehicle when I was younger? There was this, so there was a big wheel that you would like, woo, 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 just like in The Shining. And then there was this other one that was this little like caravan thing. It was red in the bottom and yellow on the top.
Little tyke.
It's just a little tyke, and then you would
use
just
your feet.
You would just use your feet because you were so small. You were like maybe 2 or 3 years old.
Oh yeah.
So you would just use your feet and you would woo, go like that. Yeah, that was before they invented battery cars for children, which was way cooler. I mean, like way cooler, right? So I had to literally walk.
But your parents didn't love you enough and never
No,
taught you?
no, my parents did not love me enough to buy me the super cool, like battery powered
My cousin,
Hummer. Your cousin had one? Yeah, so it's right, so jealous. This is like the best thing ever. Plus, I'm sure that as a kid, if you literally would have been on either one of these little toy cars that were like with electrical batteries, you've been a better driver. Like you would have been way less scared of passing your driving test. And we are talking about driving schools right here, right now. That's why we're kind of going off the history of driving and how it all became to be what it is today with the driving schools, with the tests and everything like that. So if you have some stories about your grandparents, your parents, I don't know, your cousin, your mother from another mother, doesn't matter.
Your
Just
mother
drop
from
it.
another mother.
I don't know what happened. Some families are like weird.
Your mother should be from another mother. It's very weird otherwise. She gave birth to
yeah.
herself.
That would be like
That would be
really
super
cool.
It would be. I would film it, but it's weird. I will feel bad for the child.
Yeah, it's gonna be like traumatized for the rest of their
Yeah,
life.
but I will still make money off of it. I don't feel that bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
not that bad.
Not that
You
bad.
say sorry later, right?
Maybe it's just like it's understood. I don't have to say it.
Oh, people already know.
Yeah, they know that I'm sorry. Like
Okay. Yeah, so you don't need to make a song about it. It's
No.
fine. So that being said, we need to get your stories about driving and, well, about how you would get your driver's license. How did you get your driver's license? That's what we're going to dive right into. We have Chris Pankage, who's here. We have Snoopy. We also have Electric Brian. So Snoopy says, what about the third pedal? Well, that's only if you literally drive manual. So manual in English, that would be shift stick. That's only that. So that's the clutch, as we call it in French, which is an English word that I don't know how it's called in English. But that thing, that is only if you drive not automatic, so manual shift stick. Then you need it. But if not, you don't need it. Like, so it's not there. It's not in the car. Some pedals are there's like a brake pedal, like that happened in a while, a sort of weird pedal bracket thing that you would lift, so it's like a power brake. So if you're really like in an inclined situation then you would activate that. But now most new cars have it. As soon as you park, you're braking as you're parking. It activates automatically. You don't need to put the park brake on. It's on when you stop the car. We have also here Electric Brian, who says, better yet, only use your accelerator, never touch the brake. Well, if you do have an electric car, it's a really interesting concept, but electric cars do have this regenerative brake system, meaning that as soon as you you stop touching the accelerator, it's gonna regenerate the battery a little bit, meaning that you will automatically brake because some of that energy is being refunneled, retaken into your electric motor in that way, into the battery, meaning that you decelerate way faster than if you had a gas vehicle and you would just lift your feet off of the accelerator. So it's called, I think, regenerative braking that's the way it is. So as soon as you lift your feet from the accelerator, it regenerates the battery a little bit. It's not crazy, but if you are going downhill, it could be really good for you. Like really good, a few kilometers, sometimes even. Chemist America Lifestyle, hey, what's happening? Well, we're talking about driver's license. That's what we're talking about because we're talking about driving schools hate electric vehicles. So we will get there very, very soon. Right now, give us your best. How did you pass your driving test? How many times did it take you? We want to know all that. The dirty, the ugly, the good, the bad. Snoopy says, batteries are expensive for toys. Well, of course, I mean, it depends. Do your parents love you? If they do, they should buy you cool things so that maybe you can become an F1 driver, right? Of the electric formula. But if not, there's a chance I could have been an electric formula driver and I'm not. Why? Because I just wasn't put on the right vehicle. So now I'm too scared, because when you learn to drive later in life, it's scary. It's scary. You need more motivation. You're kind of crazy when you're young. If you do that before 25, it's fine. After that, you're like, oh, I literally care for my life now, which I didn't before. So Chris Pankage says, my son had a battery-powered Jeep. He is 29. Well, that's okay. Jeep
Jeep make an hybrid.
Exactly, Jeep has an hybrid. Yeah, I've seen it. It has like a little blue logo on it. It's called E-Jeep or something like that.
It's weird because it sounds like a toy.
It does sound like a toy. It does sound like a toy.
Like battery powered Jeep.
Battery powered Jeep,
EV Jeep.
not EV
Battery
Jeep.
powered.
So as soon as you say battery powered, it's true that it sounds like a toy. Like battery's not included. You know that movie? Like yeah, that's what we think about. As soon as you're talking about batteries, you might as well be talking about some sort of toy. We're not talking the ones in your bedroom, people. So Max Power, hey Max, thank you for being here. Chris Pankage says, I will refrain from any driving stories. We don't have enough time. Well, we have an hour and a half because that's how long these podcasts last for now. Thank you for watching and for literally commenting, sharing this video. /podcast. There's a little share arrow right underneath. All of the times that you tune in and you listen to our podcast while you wait for your electric vehicle to charge, well, that helps us grow the channel and that helps us get our watch time hours because we need 3,000 for you to be able to send us some super thanks, and then we need 4,000 watch hours for you guys to be able to literally just watch the channel and give us money through ads or to YouTube Premium. So thank you to everybody who's taking the time to listen all the way through to all of our podcasts and the video content that we put out there. You are awesome! Oh yeah! So don't refrain, Chris. Don't refrain. Talk about it. We have all. That's all we got to do today, right, Si?
Give us like the most juiciest, freakiest story you have.
That's right up your alley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Yeah, we want that. We totally want that. Now, it's called a clutch in America too. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so the clutch, right? It's not clutch, huh?
It's a clutch.
It's a clutch.
It's an English word.
But it's an English word. For I don't know what it is in French. I don't know. Québécois have a weird sense of words. It's a thing. That being said, so yes, if you do drive an automatic, you only have two pedals in general. You have the brake and the accelerator. And if you drive a manual transmission, which is not existent in electric vehicles.
Embrayage.
Hein? Embrayage. C'est embrayage.
Embrayage.
Oh.
Le levier d'embrayage.
Ouais, le levier d'embrayage. Okay, yeah, that sounds way worse than clutch. So we're just gonna keep on saying clutch. You'll have that third pedal, which is the clutch, and that is for you to be able to change gears in that way. Super easy. If you don't press it when you change gears, it does weird noises, and then sometimes it breaks. So you definitely want to press that.
Oh yeah, we really have to update our Amazon.com.
It's still broken?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
No, it's not broken. It's expired.
Oh yeah, it's expired. But yeah, broken expired. Okay. Put a note side. We'll do that right after this show. Perfect. Thank you very much for saying. Robin Petit. So nice of you to be thinking of us and all of our Amazon wish list issues. Robin Petit says, some EVs allow you to turn off the regen, so you can coast. However, if there is a stop sign at the bottom, regenerator should work well. If the stop sign is on the other side of valley, turn it off. Well, I mean, yeah, so every time you do brake, there is the regenerator. Then if you want it to be better, bigger, stronger, there's usually levels on your EV. So you can make it so that it regenerates more or less. That means that as soon as you lift your feet from the accelerator, it's gonna kick a little bit. So if you put it to the maximum, it kicks just a bit more. It's a bit like you're braking. So some people find it not nauseous, but find it a bit too like on and off. So they don't like it. So they put a more slow regeneration, and that's really up to you. That's why both are totally doable. Snoopy says, no problem getting driver's license for me. Okay, well, how many do you have? Like, do you have just one? 3? Because there's a lot of driver's license you can get. Like, there's the one, of course, on the road, but there's more than one on the road. So you can get a driver's license for your car. You can get a driver's license for, I think, like buses have a special driver's license. Then there's these semis or these bigger trucks that need another driver's license. Then if you're pulling something, like something really big, you're going to need another driver's license. And of course, the motorcycle driver's license. That's for here in Canada. I don't know where you're at, but you make sure that you tell us, because we're talking about driving schools and why driving schools hate electric vehicles. Yeah, I know. So curious about why, right? We're gonna talk about this. No problem getting it. Keeping it was the issue for me. So that's from Chris. Sorry about that, Chris. Sorry about that. But you know the rules. You know, when you get it, usually you pass the test that states all the rules, and then you need to you need to keep it.
That means you know how to drive. You just don't pay attention sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe maybe
You
they
drink
should
and
take-
drive.
You drink and drive, or other, I don't know.
You go too fast.
Chris must have some dark secrets about that. I don't know if he's wanting to share or not.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, depends on the people.
Chris, please share more.
Yeah, we want to know more. This is very interesting for a Friday because at the time of the recording of this podcast, it is Friday. Thought you no longer on YouTube. Well, hey, Houston Hot Dog, thank you for being there. I said I was no longer on my other channels, but Two Girls, One Electric Car is a project and an experiment that I'm keeping on doing. Yes, from Monday to Friday, we have the podcast, so make sure that you tune in at 12 p.m. Vancouver time. And then we're also working on doing reviews. We have a patreon.com/2girls1electriccars. Thank you to all of our awesome Patreons out there. And well, I'm gonna do Two Girls One Electric Car like forever. This is a great channel and it allows me to talk about tech and EV and things like that. That is a bit more far away from what I do on the other side of the internet. So that being said, thank you for being here and for watching and listening. Snoopy says better, bigger, stronger. Hope it doesn't cost $6 million. Well, what would cost this $6 million? Like a driver's license? That's way too much money for a driver's license. Like way too much money. Mine did not cost $6 million. Commercial license and regular license. I have a regular license. Yeah, because you could also have like a taxi license, which is different, and that allows you to literally transport people, just like that movie with Jason Statham, The Transporter. Have you seen that one, Sai?
No.
No?
I'm not a big Jason Statham fan.
Oh, you don't like people who fight and there's like kill
No,
people?
I like it. I like some of his movies where it's like a fight one, but it's funny.
Oh,
Those kind
but you
of
prefer funny fighting than not funny fighting?
Yeah,
Oh.
with him in it, because he's so intense, right? Because when he's action is just too intense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sai prefers funny, intense. Good to know. Regular license also doubles for motorcycle license in my state. What do you mean doubles? You can have both in one? Because here I had to do a motorcycle license and a regular license to drive, I guess, a normal vehicle. Like just that type of normal vehicle. Which is what we are going to talk about. So that being said, here in Canada, you can get your driver's license for we're going to call it like a Vespa, like these little scooter thingies. And I'm not talking about an electric scooter, like a kick scooter, that it would be electric. I'm talking about literally one of these, these Vespa-like scooters. Usually at the age 14, you can get one.
It's 50cc.
It's 50cc, right? So those are the little ones. And usually you don't even need to pass a test. You just need to pass a written test. So it's a theory test. They don't...
Now you need to pass.
Oh, now they do it? Oh,
So cute.
oh, it's so cute. Well, they're small. They're 14 years old. They're tiny people. So that being said, here in Canada, 50 cc's, you can do it at 14, but you need to pass a test, theoretic and practical. So both tests...
Just an afternoon.
It's an afternoon now, it's not that long. And it's little tiny scooters. Then when you are finally 15, you can go to driving school classes. And that will allow you, or you cannot go and just like go take the test, it's fine. And that is a paper test, or it's on the computer, but that's just for you to understand road signals and everything that has to do with how to drive. They ask you a few other questions about like how a car works in that way. But that is all something you can read in the book. So you buy the book, you read the book, you find the information on YouTube, internet, whatever. You know everything about it. You go there and you take the test. Once you get that test taken and you pass it, which sometimes it's more complicated than common sense. That test is more complicated than common sense for a lot of things. So you pass it, and then you get this kind of this pre-license. So this pre-license allows you to drive with an adult that also has their driver's license. So you can't drive with an adult that doesn't have a driver's license. So Sai could not drive with somebody that is trying to get their driver's license, right, Sai?
Oh, really?
No.
You can't drive with someone who's doing learners?
Well, no, because you don't have your driver's license.
No.
So usually that's in Quebec, I don't know here, but you would need to have a driver's license to be able to accompany somebody who's learning to drive.
Oh.
Well, because if you don't know how to drive, what's the purpose of you being there? Moral support?
Enjoy the ride.
and the crash too. So that being said, well, this would be like the first phase of obtaining your full driver's license for a regular vehicle. So you tell us, in your state, in your city, in your country, how does it work to obtain your driver's license? Because we're talking about driving schools and how electric vehicles are changing the way driving schools are being, well, just made, and what is it going to be the future of this? Now, Snoopy says, whoa, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, so no beer is good, fast is fun. Beer and fast, no fun. Well, the hypocrisy never thought so. I think it's the police. Well, the police never thought so. Of course, the police doesn't think so. If you go fast, more chances of you not surviving the crash. It's physics. The faster you go, the less chances. And for everybody too, not just you in the vehicle. Yeah. If you're like walking, there's less chances of you getting hurt than if you're going 100 miles per hour, right? This is just so easy to understand. When you said bigger, better, stronger, was almost like the opening of the TV show. Oh, the $6 million man. Okay, that guy. Yeah, that guy. Okay. So Daft Punk and Kanye West took that one. They took it. Chemist America lifestyle. I got a regular and a motorcycle license. Also got a CDL. That's the one little harder for me to get. What's a CDL? Oh yes, and look here, I got a vinyl of the $6 million man. Bought it at a vinyl shop. Super cool. I mean, it cost $15. Not new. I'm not that old yet. I wish, but I'm just not there yet. So, birth of the Bionic Man, the Iron Heart. The man from the future.
What
Bionic
is that?
Berserker.
Is that music?
What? This? No, it's a show, but that was on the radio. So it's so old
Is it
that
a vinyl?
It was a radio show. So like kids to you know.
TV show.
But it
Oh,
was a
it's
TV show, but it was on the radio too, no? Oh, I thought it was on the radio.
TV show
Oh.
from the
Also, you
70s.
can stream it from this?
You can listen to it.
Just listen.
This is just vinyl, so it's just not MP3, but it's just,
Just
audio
like-
track.
Yeah.
Audio track. It's old MP3. It's old MP3. $6 million man. So if you are one of those who listen or watch $6 million man, well, welcome to Two Girls, One Electric Car. While you wait to get your $6 million man body, make sure that you subscribe and that you tune in from Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. Vancouver time, because we bring you electrifying news. Okay. I don't know what the CDL is.
Commercial driving license.
Oh, it's the commercial driver's license. So is that, are you actually, Chemist America lifestyle, are you driving people like a taxi cab, or are you driving things, like, I don't know, propane and propane accessories? Like, is that type of driver's license? Tell us, yeah. And then Snoopy says, our regular driver's license here in America, we just have one. And if you have motorcycle, it also shows on that license too. That makes sense. Hey, Carl, thanks for being here. So it's the same in Canada. When you are, like I said, 15, you can go and do your theoretical. So you can go and just write on the paper, pass the exam. After that is done, well, they want you to practice, right? So you can subscribe to a driving school, and they will make you, well, practice driving. They will show you the car, and you'll go on driving tests with an instructor. Sometimes it's on the road. Sometimes it's in like some park thingies that are made for that. After which, at one point, you will be ready, and that is when you are 16. You can't do it before 16. It's not legal to do that. When you are 16 in Canada, Quebec, you are now able to pass your practical test. So meaning that you would go with an instructor, or more like a person that passes tests. You go there with your car, or with like a car that you rent, and you pass the test. If you don't pass the test, well, you need to pass it again. But there's a cooldown period. I think you need like a month or 2 weeks before you can repass it. I know, because I failed mine a few times. I was too stressed. I was an anxious person. But my motorcycle one, my driving for motorcycle, a bit the same thing. It's a bit the same thing. So first things you need to do is to get that written test down. Then you need to go practice. You can go to driving school. Once the driving school is done, you get your license, and then both these licenses in Quebec, that's what I know because that's where I made my courses and I still have them. Well, you need to drive with somebody who has their driver's license and it has their full driver's license for the first year. And sometimes even 2 years, it depends, kind of, sort of. But for the first year, you need to drive with somebody that has their full driver's license. Either, well, in the car with you if it's a vehicle one, or if it's a motorcycle one, you need to have that person with you there. Not on the motorcycle, on their own motorcycle, because that'd be kind of weird, you know. But that being said, it has to be like that. And after that, you do pass that other test, driving test. Woo, yeah, super cool. And bam, you get the full license. So after you get the full license, you're good to go. You do whatever you want, whenever you want. That's how we do it here. You tell us, what is your driving school experiences? Did they come and pick you up at school? Because me, they did that. They came and pick us up at school. You too? They pick you up at school, huh? So you got appointment, you book it, you pay it, and then you just wait, and that instructor comes and pick you up at school, and then you drive, and somebody comes pick you up later. Chris Pankage says, yes, in USA we have classes like Class A, Class C, etc., etc. The actual license you hold is where those class certifications appear. But it's a physical license. Okay. Well, it's a physical license. That makes sense. Chris Pankage also says, it looks like vines behind you, Piper, but you don't have vines like that in Vancouver.
It's the washing guy.
It's the washing guy, right? Yeah, it's the washing guy. So they're washing the windows. They're washing the windows. So this guy is super happy. I was doing some stuff this morning with Sai. I'm sure this guy was super happy. Max Power says, I'm sorry, but I don't like driving. If I remember right, I learned when I was 21. Well, yeah, everybody can learn. I think, the age for learning to drive is like 15. That's the youngest you can get your license at for a vehicle. But then you can always do it like whenever you want in your life. It doesn't need to be 15, depending. And Scotty Landon, hey Scotty, with the CDL, they have different classes based on what you are trained to drive. There is A, B, C, A. You can drive like anything. I mean, so you had a peeping Tom. Well, I mean, they tell you, they tell you they're gonna wash the windows, so you do whatever you want with that information. Some people, they like to, do things. Other people like to close their store, like blinds, store. Just depends on you, what you like in general. Chemist America Lifestyle. The last motorcycle we got was the Can-Am Spider, the automatic kind, like a scooter, so the wife can drive it and I can be a passenger too. It was fun, but we're not into it, so sold it. Well, now that you have a kid, I mean, you can't really put the kid in there. That'd be weird and dangerous. Probably. It depends. But the Can-Am Spider, is it a 3-wheeler or a 4-wheeler? It's the 3-wheeler, right?
2 wheels in the
2 wheel in the front, 1 in the back. And that's more like I think we talked about that. It's like a motorcycle automobile kinda. It's in the middle. But they need to. It's like the Aptera, but they need to pass a test for that in Quebec, I think. They had to pass a special test to make sure that they were qualified to drive those. 3-wheeler, but you can now buy an upgrade making it 4. Wow, great. So should you just buy another wheel? Huh? That's cool. Why don't you buy a car if you're at 4 wheels already? Driving schools hate electric vehicles. I'm Piper and I'm with
Sai.
Yes, and we are here to discuss driving schools hate electric vehicles. Why? Okay, so we talked about driving in general. We talked about what it is or what is required to get your driver's license. If you have more crazy stories, make sure you invite a friend who has one too. Click on the share button right down there and share this actual podcast/video, because yes, you can watch or listen on Facebook, on Reddit, on anything, any place you want. You can even share it via email. Super easy. You click that URL and you send it to somebody. You can send it via text message too. Amazing. Most people have been shown to send it via text message for some reason. So if you haven't done it yet, you are one of the last one to have done it. So, get on that wagon and start sending it. Would driving schools hate battery-powered cars? Well, let's dive into this. So if you are at driving schools, you want to have a few cars, right? Though you want cars because you're training these kids, young people. In general, there's older people that want to get their driver's license. So you're training them.
I'm gonna start a driving school.
You're gonna start a driving school?
I'm gonna teach them how to activate the FSD.
Yeah, you're just gonna teach them how to activate the FSD. That's it. That's the driving school. Here's the FSD button. Do you know where it is? Now you're good. Ta-da! This is how you drive in 2024.
Now you owe me 1,021.
Now you, yeah, I think it's expensive, right? Driving schools cost me like close to $2,000 probably. But with the driving lessons and all that, and the books, and it's a long process, like 6 months process.
Isn't it weird? So many people that are gonna start driving FSD don't actually know how to drive, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't know. But if the Will Smith movie happens and we lose like everything and we have to start from scratch, only manual cars would work.
Oh,
And then all the people would be like,
and they would know how to drive. Get a horse, right?
yeah, like get a horse.
Get a horse. Get a horse.
Because if they're not all dead, then we have to get a horse.
Yeah.
They might be dead.
We don't know. At that stage, we have no idea
No.
how many horses are going to still be alive.
Exactly.
Maybe we can take the ones from the police, the RCMP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah, maybe that's why they still have horses. They're scared
Maybe
about
they're-
EMPs.
Yeah.
So that's why they're like, okay, we're going to keep the horses. That way we're safe.
That's mine.
We're super safe. So driving schools hate electric vehicles. Why do you think they hate them? Drop a comment. Tell us, why do you think driving schools would hate electric vehicles? I mean, one theory or one myth or whatever you want to call it, one rumor would be that yes, driving schools would hate electric vehicles because most electric vehicles are technologically advanced, meaning you don't even need to drive them, right? And that's the whole point of a driving school, showing you how to drive. So in that situation where you don't need to know how to drive anymore, well, that would kind of make the driving schools obsolete. Snoopy says standard cars are best. They don't get stolen. The manual cars, you've been saying. Okay, not sure I get most of that.
They don't steal manual cars?
I guess. People don't steal manual cars because they don't... Have you been to Europe? Like, everybody drives manual in Europe. It's only here in Canada. People don't drive as manual as in Europe. It depends on the country. I know how to drive manual because it's just... That's a thing. Plus, if you drive a motorcycle... You don't have to know how to drive manual, but I suggest you start with that. And then, well, some motorcycles are more automatic nowadays. Like, you don't really need to anymore that much. Scotty adds, some companies will reimburse you straight out of the driving school. What do you mean reimburse you? Oh, so if you do like the I guess commercial driver's license, then they will reimburse you because they want drivers. Yeah, because they want drivers. Well, that makes a lot of sense. That'd be better for these types of drivers. But if you're just a person who wants to own a vehicle to go to places, well, you're gonna need a driver's license. So far, we still need driver's license. I don't know for how long, but it's still a thing that we definitely need. Chris Pankich, driving school would never be able to insure them as student vehicles. The replacement costs and risk, I guess, would be too high at present cost. Oh, interesting. So, Sai, what Chris is saying is that because driving schools maybe have more accidents than other types of fleets of vehicles, like taxis or like pizza delivery people, well, it just costs too much to replace for kids, but they have a brake in there. Like, have you seen like drivers, like driving school cars? Like the instructor has a brake pedal on their side.
Yeah, so he should be the one in trouble. He's at fault because he didn't brake. Student doesn't know anything.
Sometimes they have steering.
Yeah, sometimes they have steering too on the other side.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Let's check out how much does it cost to get a driving school car, because they have a lot of features, these driving school cars. They have no, but it's true. They're not crazy.
If you don't trust your wife,
you can do the same thing. You can have a brake on the other side. I mean, when I went on the racetrack, when I went on a racetrack in Mission here in British Columbia, so on that racetrack I drove a Charger. So a Charger, and the thing is, the Charger was made as a race car. more like a NASCAR. Same but different. I mean, you didn't get in the window. There was literally a door there. but things were moved so that it would become more of a race car. So there was like the seat was different. The seat belts was different. It would accommodate for that. And on the other side, the driving instructor or the pilot that was on the passenger side, he had a brake, because like you're renting this kind of experience, you're purchasing this experience where you're racing on a track, and if something goes wrong, well, the driving instructor can definitely brake. A bit like at a driving school, same thing. So your driver at the driving school, well, not driver, but your instructor could brake at any time, and even steer. Some driving schools have steering wheels on the other side.
Did you feel that your driving instructor was nervous?
Did I feel that my driving instructor was nervous? There was nothing to be nervous about. I was like too slow. There's nothing to be no.
I think the dual control thing is a attachment. It's an installation you can buy to put on the car.
Yeah. So how much is it?
So I only have UK prices for whatever reason.
Okay, well, let's do it in pounds.
It takes $1,500 to install.
Oh,
that's yeah.
Well, it depends if you trust your wife or not.
It depends if you trust her.
In the UK, it's like around 200 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. 200 pounds, just like the steering
dual control. Yes, it also has brakes and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because it's like it's fully controlled.
Yeah.
So it's an add-on. So it would be like literally. I don't know why you would get it for you as an individual, but sometimes maybe if you want to
maybe if you're teaching your son to drive or whatever. I don't know if people are allowed to have that.
I don't know if people are allowed to have that.
Yeah.
Because like I never seen it on any other car. Even my driving instructor did not have a steering wheel. They only had a brake.
They will sell it to you unless you're a driving school.
That'd be kind of weird, because you could like hijack, right? You could be like, no, honey, I don't want you to drive anymore. So forget about it. I'm taking control right now. I mean, this is where you just change driver's seats. Anyway, you need to both have your driver's license. That's the whole point. Whether you're controlling the car from the passenger seat or from not the passenger seat, you need a driver's license. You can't drive a car right now without a driver's license.
Snoopy, 200 pounds is not the weight, it's the cost, Snoopy.
Oh, yeah, because it's pounds like in UK dollars.
Yeah, currency.
Yeah, exactly, currency.
Imagine if the police car arrests you.
Yeah.
For drunk driving. Who's driving?
Oh.
You have a steering and a bed.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Yes, if they arrest you for drunk driving, but then you have one of these like other system. So there's one on the passenger seat and there's one. Who's driving? Who was driving? How can you tell? This is so cool. Okay, so we have here. Okay, max power. I think we're at max power. No, a little bit higher. Not in America, and almost no one drives standard cars. Well, I don't know what the stats are on this site. Can we check this out? What are the stats in North America? How many people drive automatic or purchased automatic vehicles versus manual vehicles? Because even trucks, like pickup trucks, are usually like the F-150. I think is automatic. It's all automatic. It's just a cluck.
American cars.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're driving like a Bronco from the 1950s, it's gonna be automatic, like literally.
So in 2021, there was a 62.4% automatic and 37.7% manual.
See, people are lazy. They drive automatic. It's easier. You don't need to do nothing. You're just like, you're driving automatic. It changed gears for you. You have more time to text, right? That's what people are doing. Don't text and drive. This is a PSA from Piper and
Sai.
And we are here on the podcast called While You Wait. Because while you wait to get all of that juicy information and that amazing entertainment for electric vehicles, well, we aim to entertain you super mega easy. So make sure that you tune in at 12 p.m. Yeah, that's Vancouver time or Pacific Standard Time or daylight saving time. Doesn't really matter. Just check out what time it is in Vancouver and be there for the live show representation from Monday to Friday. Okay, Max Power says, when I was learning how to drive, I was going to turn right. So I let go of the accelerator, expecting the car to slow down by itself. So I took the corner super fast and I scared my father. Good story. This is the kind of story we want. So this is definitely something that happens because we're not born like driving vehicles. We need to get adapted to that. You need to really learn how to drive. It's not the same thing. Like running is kind of easier, you know, you're just dealing with your own body. But the car does not react the same way as you would react. So you need to know how the car reacts so that you can compensate for that or adjust. And Snoopy says, I'm used to driving standard cars. My dad had me drive that type of car. Some people prefer the standard versus the... So standard, that's the manual, right? Okay, so confusing. But standard is manual. Well, because it's a little bit more active driving. Let's call it like that. It is true. I mean, I drive both, but I have an EV, a Tesla Model X, meaning that there's no point for me to have a standard car. Like it's electric vehicles don't need gearbox. They don't have gearbox. They have an electric motor. And so they give energy right away. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's just energies. You just press the accelerator and it gives you more, or if you release the accelerator, it gives you less. Bam, super easy. So I have to say that when driving manual or standard, well, it gives some depth to your driving. You feel cool, right? You feel like you're actively driving. Manual, when you activate self-drive, it's not driving. It's more like cruising. Especially with self-drive and full self-drive. You're more like behind the steering wheel, but the car is doing most of the work, which allows you to pay more attention to the road. That's definitely for sure. I mean, it's a layer of security that is there. And I'm sure that most of you did not learn to drive with FSD. Maybe some type of cruise control, maybe a little bit of line assist. But in general, most of us here learn to drive with like normal, regular cars. Oh, there's a guy. If you're here in the video format, you're going to be able to see the window wash. So Chris Pankage says, that's another issue. The cost to retrofit the EV to the student driving vehicles. What's retrofit the EV? What, retrofit? Like you make it retro? you make it like Tiffany blue? Yeah, what's retrofitting? What type of word is that? Retrofit. Retrofit. Do you make it listen to like be my baby? Like these kind of music?
Retrofitting means the measures taken in the manufacturing industry to allow new or updated parts to be fitted to old or outdated assemblies. So putting new stuff to old, attaching old to updated, I guess.
Okay, so but how old would these have to be? Retrofit the EV to a student driving vehicle.
Oh, taking the EV parts and making the driving car EV.
Yeah, exactly. Probably.
Just get an EV.
Just get the EV and then make it so that you can literally change it into a driving vehicle. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. If EVs are becoming the new normal and you will need to purchase like new EVs only.
Piper, you have a guest. You have a special guest.
I know, I do. I do. This is so cool. This is so cool.
You can see him. He's on YouTube right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need a release form.
It's YouTube, so we should be fine. We should be fine. Maybe no release form. I mean, there's more than one person in the frame, so it should be fine. Yeah, let's. We're good. We're on YouTube. Should be great. Then okay, Max Power adds to his father story of him learning how to drive. He told me he took the corner like 90 degrees. Okay, well that's intense. That's intense. But when you don't know how to drive, you just assume that it's just like in the movies, which it is not. You think you're Vin Diesel, but you're not. You're not. You need to get there. You need to get there. Chemist America Lifestyle says, IMO, driving schools will be just getting CDL in the future. Oh, so you think that driving schools will only the sole purpose of driving schools would be to get commercial driver's license? Let's say, yeah, to carry like propane or to drive other people like buses or public transport or maybe school buses too in that way. That makes some sense because you still want a layer or an added layer of security when you are dealing with especially these like crazy materials. I mean, even like an ambulance or a police car, like we were talking about in the previous podcast. You can go check that out. Yes, it is in our podcast playlist. Cool. While you wait for your EV to charge, we talked about electric vehicles and police cars. So that being said, I mean, all vehicles will be EV. So we will need to switch the driving schools to electric vehicles because that's just what is going to be widely available. If you want to buy a new vehicle, it's going to have to be an EV. So if kids are not learning to drive with electric vehicles, well, that's what they're going to have to buy anyways very soon. So why would we make them drive on these older vehicles that are going to be obsolete very, very soon? Scotty Landon says that makes sense because I think some driving teachers use their own car. Oh, really? I mean, that's sad. I thought like driving schools would pay for a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
That's a cheap
school. Yeah, you need to go with one of these like big franchise or something, like one of these good like big schools. Javier says, you don't want tour car to be stolen by manual transmission car? What? Oh, I don't understand. Chris Pankett says, my dad bought me a standard car for my first car. I thought he knew how to drive one, but he took part of the garage wall out and bent the door, starting it in reverse with no foot on the clutch. Okay, yeah, that happens. That did happen to me like a few times, you know. If it's been a while since I drove manual, and then I was in Reunion Island and rented that car that was manual because it's cheaper to rent a manual car in general. Manual cars are cheaper to buy in general. And so I rented one and I completely forgot to do that. And so yeah, it kicked. Like the car kicked. And so that's a bit scary. And if there's nobody and nothing near it, it's okay. But when there is stuff near, there's a good chance you're gonna hit it like Chris' dad. Same. That part side looked up, retrofit, make it work. Okay, so yeah, you make it work. That makes sense. Okay, yes, we did see people in my window because don't worry, it's not a stalker. It's just it's the cleaner guy. It's the cleaner guy or girl, but I think that was a guy.
Yeah, that was a guy.
Yeah, so he's just like cleaning the windows to make them pretty nice, and so we got at the setup. Maybe you wanted to be on the show. Okay, next time we'll put a QR code there.
Yeah.
Electric Brian says retrofit equals take a car without a brake on the passenger side and add a brake to it. Modify it. Okay, thank you, Electric Brian, for that information. Meaning, well, you would just, add a brake on the passenger side, which is totally doable. I mean, not all cars have that because when your 12-year-old child is on the passenger seat, you might not want it to have access to a brake, you know? This might not be a good idea. He just dropped like Spider-Man. Yeah, that's what these guys do, right? They just drop. They go down that rope and they clean the window.
Here that they do it.
Yeah, we have a team here that dresses as superheroes to clean the windows in Vancouver. That was not one of them, unfortunately. I wish you guys could have seen Spider-Man. That was just some guy in a rain suit because it is, totally raining here in Vancouver.
Oh, it's raining?
Oh, he was a Chinese Power Ranger? Yeah, that's okay. That's
and Asian. We're open.
Okay,
we don't know if it was Chinese.
We don't.
Asian.
No. There's almond eyes. There's everything in it. Everything works. Sounds like the brake was off when starting the car. Well, yeah. Okay, so that happens. That literally happens. Kenny Hart. Whosoever. Hello, Kenny. Thank you for tuning in. It's the first time we see you in the live comment section. Always great to have new people here. Bring your friends, your family, anybody or everybody that loves EV, or your kid that is learning to drive. The greatest anti-theft device. What's the greatest anti-theft device? Is it the fact that your car is old, dirty, or like smelly? I have no idea. That'd be kind of like the biggest anti-theft device, right? You're like, why would somebody want my car anyways? There's a dog in it. Like, that would definitely not appeal to me at all.
I thought it was a Nissan Cube.
The Nissan Cube, right? You don't want to steal that. I'm pretty sure there's some cars that don't really get stolen in that way. Manual shift. greatest anti-theft device? Well, because it is true that most of the population doesn't know how to operate manual shift, but I think yeah, maybe the thieves do, you know, they're like, okay, it's easier.
They drive motorcycle.
They do. Well, I'm guessing that if you're gonna thief out, you need to have some skills. You need to know how to drive cars, or else, like it's like valet parking. I'm a valet parker, but I don't know how to drive manual. That is gonna be great. I wish not every car has FSD. You're just gonna crash that Lambo.
Oh, yeah, they probably need to know how to drive manual, right? The valet parkers.
Of course they do. But they have no choice, right? Because it's like a McLaren is not automatic.
Oh, it's not?
But they have like this it could be qualified as yes, but I'm pretty sure if you want to be a valet, it's because you want to touch all these cars, right? So you want to drive them.
Yeah. Plus you have to move. That's the whole point of a valet, right?
Exactly, you have to move
And you
them.
can't say, "Oh, sorry, sir, I don't not this one."
Exactly, not yours. I
Yeah.
can't.
Not sure.
I cannot drive a Ferrari.
Oh, Ferrari is manual too.
Most of these sports cars are.
Oh.
Because you wanna have that thing. But the thing is, the way they are is not always with the shift stick. It's like on the steering wheel. So you switch gears like an F1 pilot. So you have these big like wings, and then you click it, and that switches gears. Yeah, so up, down, right?
So
We had that with the Mercedes, but it was the like.
Yeah, we had it with the Mercedes. Yeah, but it was behind the steering wheel, but not like that.
It was not on the shifter. It would go like click, click.
Oh yeah, it was on the shifter. So it's a mix between an automatic and a manual transmission in that way.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you need to know cars.
You need to know cars. Because you're gonna get like a whole wide array of vehicles.
Okay,
that
good
you-
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would take that job.
You would take that job? Well, it's a cool job.
When you got your driver's license.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, you're nice. You touch a lot of cars. I mean, you get good tip usually, because the bigger the car, the bigger the tip. Yeah.
The less amount of scratches and bigger tip.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I hope they're insured, because
Yeah.
that might have happened a few times. Car thieves stole the motor repeatedly and ran away. Stealing a motor, that's a bit complex. Stalled? Oh, stalled. Stalled the motor and ran away. Yeah, when you miss. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, what we got here? I learned at 17 driving a 24-foot box truck. Well, that's some learning for you. That must have been kind of intense. Like, kind of intense. Snoopy says, on the news here, where I live, car thieves could not steal manual cars because they were not taught about manual. Well, good for you. Again, if you want to like make sure nobody steals your car, just like put it in the garage. That helps. That's the first step one. And then step two, well, I wouldn't go and buy like a manual car just for chances of not it getting stolen. I mean, now with applications and all that, you can track your car. The chances of it getting stolen is like, where do you live? Because that would be more of a...
Everybody's talking about stealing car. Where do you live, guys?
Yeah, where do you live? Because so far my car hasn't been stolen. Not to my knowledge. So it was stolen and put back there, maybe. We have Carl who says, just like the old days in style. You mean like leaving the car there? Electric Brian says Teslas don't get stolen because their anti-theft technology is so advanced, and there's Sentry mode, and you can always track your Tesla. It's true, I don't have Sentry mode, which is some sort of really high-tech camera system. It's like surveillance system. Yeah, it's Big Brothers for cars. It's like it's all over the vehicle. Every time someone touches it, gets close to it, it records everything. It does that in the car. Like, it's not an added dash cam, it's literally in the car. It's already there. And well, like you were saying, Sentry mode and then anti-theft, and you can track your vehicle. So even though I don't have Sentry mode, I can still track my Tesla. I know where it is when it is, and I know how fast it's driving too. If somebody else is driving it than myself. Car, okay, so paddle shifter. What do you mean paddle? Oh yeah, paddle shifter. Exactly, that's the word for these shifters. So it's automatic and it's manual at the same time. You can kind of go automatic and you can kind of go manual. So I think it's a kind of an hybrid in that way for some sports cars.
It will not let your motor explode.
No, it will not. Exactly. It will shift for you. It will not let your motor explode. No, it will just shift for you. Plus, when I rented a manual vehicle in Reunion Island, they were so advanced that they tell you when to shift, right? So it's just, they tell you, okay, 3, okay, down 2, okay, 4. So they literally, it says on the screen when to shift, which I did not have when I learned. So you just were like, I think it's like, I think it's the sound. Okay, I'm gonna switch. You can also look at your RPM, of course, but I mean, it's a bit of a, yeah, it's an intense experience to do manual. You need to be focused. Dashboard cameras, yes, dashboard cameras can help. Olak Sharam, hey, what's up? Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. Make sure you invite a friend, family member, somebody who hates or loves electric vehicles, because that's all we're about. On While You Wait to Charge Your Electric Vehicle, we aim to entertain you with interesting facts about EVs. Now, he says you can even put an AirTag on your car these days. Yes, you can. But again, I don't think you buy a car with the consciousness of it being stolen. Like, this is very rare. I don't even know somebody who had their car stolen. Like, it's literally. Chris Pankich, the new Ioniq 5 N-Line is paddle shifters and RPG gauge and sound inside and out like an engine. Ooh, interesting. So I think RPM. Okay, RPM gauge. So they made an EV that gives you that makes sounds. That makes you, makes a sensation of driving an actual ICE vehicle. So cool information. So let's get back to driving schools and why they hate EVs. So far we got the fact that, well, driving schools would need to literally, yes, purchase EVs, so purchase new vehicles because EVs are newer, transform these vehicles into, well, vehicles that are more secure for 15 and 16-year-old to be in. So have a brake pedal on the other side and possibly a steering wheel for the instructor to be able to control the car at all times. Then Chris Pankich did say something interesting, and he said it also with the police cars, meaning that electric vehicles might be, and we don't know, maybe Sai, we need to Google this, but might be harder to repair. And when I say harder, I mean more costly to repair. So do we get any like facts about how more costly they are to repair? I don't know. We're gonna Google this. We're gonna know if it's really a thing or if it's just. I mean, of course, if you break the battery pack, it makes sense. That it's like if you break the motor, you need to change the motor. That's expensive on any vehicle. So if you break the battery, it must be a bit like breaking the motor.
They were the research they did. The repair claims were higher, but only about 2%.
Oh, that's not that bad. 2%. The 2% is not crazy bad.
2% more than the gas cars.
Okay, so meaning that that's not a big dent in your budget, especially if you're saving on maintenance and you're saving on many other things that EVs will make you save on, like gas. If electricity is cheaper for these EV driving schools, well, they're gonna save on gas for sure, and they're gonna save on maintenance, meaning their vehicles are gonna be like easier. Check how many EVs are totaled in accidents compared to an ICE, meaning not repaired. Oh, okay, so meaning like totals. Okay, well, let's check this out. Yeah, we're checking it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for dropping comments. This podcast is brought to you by Two Girls, One Electric Car, and it's called While You Wait, because while you wait to drop in a comment, we are here talking to you. But you can always drop a comment, so make sure that you do so whenever, wherever, doesn't matter. As long as you got your phone and internet connection, we are there to make sure that you get your EV news. From Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. So, okay.
I don't know how many were totaled. That's not what the Google tells me. It tells me like how many injury claims.
But that's like not the vehicle. That's like the people in the vehicle, right?
Yeah, but the reason is because it's like absorbs a lot of the shock because of its weight or batteries or whatever, I'm guessing. So it doesn't cause that much damage.
Okay. To the human being.
But to the other car, probably a lot.
Oh. Because it's heavier.
Because it's
bigger.
heavier.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So because it's heavier, it would just like cause more damage to the other vehicle. Because if it's heavier, it goes faster and it decelerates slower. Yeah, Newton. What's up, Newton? Come up with your apple. Well, okay, Chris, we still need to check this out because we haven't figured it out yet. But thank you for adding that to the rotation. Driving schools hate EVs. Why do you think driving schools hate EVs? Well, another theory but you be free to leave a comment and tell us why you think so. Okay. We have Olok who says, on the flip side, it might be easier for manufacturers to put in systems like a dual steering wheel and dual accelerator/brake system, since no mechanical changes necessary, unlike old ICE cars. It's all software controlled, so the degree of autonomy can be tuned on the fly. It's true that since the EVs are earlier, like right now, they're existing right now, so they're more high tech in general than ICE vehicles that are on the road in general. Well, yeah, meaning you could just do a software update and have it redirected or have it control something else. You're probably still going to need to install these like moving parts for sure, like the steering wheel, the brake, the accelerator, but in the end it's only software. It's probably going to be mostly electrical in that way, and then the whole EV software acts as the brain, and you can redirect wherever, however you want, which is an interesting fact and a good point. Then of course there is the fact of the FSD. Meaning, we all remember when we had to learn to park. Because the problem is never the driving. Driving is easy. Parking is hard. Backing it up, parallel parking. That's where it is. That's where I failed my exam, actually. Like, the 2 times. And then the other time I got it. But this is really where it's at, is the parking. It's because you're so stressed. You're so stressed that there's like, all this stress does not make you chill, and all this non-chilling makes your brain dysfunction. So that being said, yeah, parallel parking was not a problem for Snoopy. Good for you. For me, it still is a huge problem. I've not solved that one. Still get triggered by it for some reason. I just go to places where I can park without parallel parking. I guess I was not raised in the city, so this did not work for me. And now I have a huge vehicle. The Tesla Model X is huge. Like, it's a parallel parking. Oh my god. And I want a Cybertruck. But I feel like the Cybertruck is so big that I won't care about parallel parking. I'm just gonna hit all the cars and be like, it's all cool. I'm just gonna put bumper stickers on it, you know? It's gonna be fine. Yeah, there's a little noodle, you know, pool noodle. I'm gonna put pool noodle. Or like they do in Europe, you know, they have blankets in the front and in the back so they can actually hit other cars to park. Same thing. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be easier like that. So that being said, because we now have FSD, which is full self-drive, let's not go that far. Let's bring it back a little bit less far. We have what is called parking mode, and most vehicles have that. Not just EVs, but most vehicles have a button that you can activate that will allow for your car to park itself. So why do we need to know how to park if these cars are doing it for us? More like, yeah, we could say, Piper, why do we need to know how to drive? That's exactly what we're talking about on Driving Schools Hate EVs. So meaning, if Sai was to be like, hey, Piper, you know what? I'm just gonna, park the car right here, right now. I'd be like, okay, do it. There's a park button on the Tesla, and it's gonna park itself. So it's not literally Sai who's gonna park it.
So you can do that in your Tesla too?
Yeah. I can do it. But it has to, the thing that I haven't figured out, has to light up. I haven't found the hijack button for it to be able to park it where I want.
Oh, it has to light up for you to be like, okay, now I can.
It has to see the parking spot, and then you click it, and then it parks.
I see.
But if it doesn't see it,
then it doesn't.
You're manual. You're like, you need to do it with your own self. And then I saw this new, I'm not sure on which vehicle it was, but I saw this new feature, and it was really cool. Maybe it was Hyundai or something. So you would just use the backup camera, locate where you want to park, click on the screen. Like literally touch the screen. You click it and you say, I want to park there. And then the car parks there where you clicked. So it's like touch and park. This is crazy. It's drag and park. You click the screen and it's just gonna go park itself where you touched it. And I think that's what's missing with the Tesla Model X. Mine is a 2016, of course, please keep that in mind. So it's an older model. Well, the thing is, if the parking light doesn't light up, if it doesn't see the parking spot, I cannot put it in park mode. I can't. Now, summon you can always do, because that just kind of pulls the vehicle out of the parking spot. So it just goes all up front. It just It rolls towards you. It's a summoning. It's a summoning. Some other summons are crazier with the Tesla. It actually comes to you, like gets out of the parking spot and comes to your location. I think that's for newer models, not my 2016. Unfortunately, my 2016 does not have FSD or full self-drive. It has self-drive though, meaning it's pretty assisted. So that being said, driving schools hate EVs. Of course they have to hate EV because right now, the way EVs are going, they will make driving school completely obsolete in not that long. Snoopy says, the car is looking for the paint on the road to see parking places. I think that's exactly what it does. It needs to see like these lines. And if it doesn't see the lines for whatever reasons, it's too dark or something like that, it doesn't want to park there. Ring or bright paint.
Bring paint with you. Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so I carry my just like just like Banksy. I'm just gonna start like spray painting everywhere and be like, okay, I park here. This is where I park. Yeah,
that's complicated.
I think we might have issue with that one. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but it's it's gonna be a thing. The other thing, Go fund me for my paint. Please go to our Patreon, patreon.com/2girls1electric to support the growth of this channel and more amazing podcasts like this one. We also do videos and short forms, so make sure that you go check out our channel. Every view you give us or listens that you give us allow us to be monetized sooner and faster. So thank you so much for all of the listening that you are doing. Okay, the other thing is, well, if we are going the way of electric vehicles, and electric vehicles are the only newer vehicles that we will be able to buy here in Canada in 2035. Well, that means that we need to train the kids or the teenagers, call them like that are going to be buying these vehicles. So we don't want to not train them. A bit like when you do your driver's license course, they ask you, do you want to be on a manual or an automatic vehicle? Same thing. Well, do you want to be on an automatic, on a manual, or on an electric vehicle? That's totally has to happen because we need to train these kids to be able to drive an electric vehicle, and that means a lot of things. That means how to plug them. That means how to activate some of these technological features. I know they got YouTube and I know they could learn it on TikTok as well, but the whole point is for these driving schools to give the same information to everybody, so everybody is ready for the test. And even the tests at these societies of Canada or of your province will have to now include electric vehicles, or will have to include some specs or some features that electric vehicles have that gasoline vehicles do not have. Because yes, blinkers are a thing and windshield wipers are a thing, but there's also how to plug it, how to maintain the battery, these little things, how to change the oil, like all of that was in an ICE vehicle. But now we need to educate the younger generation so that they know how to use it. What if their parents have gas vehicles and they don't know? We kind of rely on the school system to do these things, or on driving schools to be able to do that as well. So Alak Sharma says, I think the new age training will be more about driving safely since these heavy cars go very fast. You mean like because battery is more heavy in that way and that they have instant torque, we would need to tell them how to not text and drive, I guess, and use FSD but still be very vigilant, because right now the way these cars are, you don't really need to drive them in that way, right? Side, it's not very necessary.
Yeah, true.
So you need to know more about how to operate all these buttons, then you need to know how to drive.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a completely different type of course.
Yeah, completely.
Do you think it's...
I think it'd be easier to learn how to do FSD and like electric car compared to manual and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, it's less coordination, for sure. It's just like bodily movement, right?
Yeah, but some people are more better with like using manually like their hands and stuff rather than remembering which button to push when and stuff would be harder, I think.
But then with the Ioniq 5, like Chris said, if like EVs get back to having some sort of manual transmission, that means that you would still have an EV, but if you're one of those more tactical manual persons, you could still get that experience or that learning.
Plus, I think when you're learning for the first time, whatever you learn for the first time would always seem easier because that's what you're learning. You don't know anything else.
Yes.
But for people who are used to a certain way, them relearning like all the buttons and stuff would be harder.
Well, because that's why we did a podcast also on the screens, meaning that, yes, these electric vehicles have they just have a screens. They don't even have buttons. Most of them have very little buttons. So you need to teach people how to operate this screen.
And
I mean,
just like for the eating and the stuff, you know, when
just for the,
eating.
yeah, just heating, music, entertainment. Totally different. It's just, it's a slider, and it's a slider on a screen.
Because I think, you know, from the old days, a brand and another brand was the same kind.
It was still a button that you turn or click.
Blue and red.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
there somewhere, but now it's not.
No, now it's not. You need to literally go into your car screen and search for it. It's kind of easy. I mean, they don't do too many sub-menus because they want you to have access to that. But one time I was literally parked at a red light. And I kind of touched the screen because I was trying to raise the suspension, but I opened a door. And so that happened. Whereas if I was in the front and I could not necessarily open the doors in the front because I was parked, I mean, the car knew I was parked. So they opened the door. They opened the door, whatever. I mean, this can happen with a screen, whereas when you had buttons, it was a bit harder to open the doors from the front seat. Usually you would need to take your hand, reach back and open it, which I did a few times. But it's true, we've all done that, right? We've all done that. It just happened. It happened. It's a thing. The owner's manual would have to have how to use cars. Well, we always suggest that you read the owner's manual for your vehicle or watch a few YouTube videos. I mean, same but different. That being said, if you are spending that money and that time and you're learning to drive right here right now, I would suggest definitely for younger people to go with a driving school where they can touch a little bit everything. So touch an EV, test an EV, test a manual, and test an automatic. And maybe it's going to be a bit more like that, a bit more of a playground to get your driver's license, to just kind of touch all these vehicles, because they're still going to be accessible for a while. It's not because we're starting to sell only new EV vehicles by 2035 that gas vehicles will be completely not there. I mean, they're going to be maybe cheaper even because they're going to be older, so there's going to be older models. So some people might want to buy them just because they're going to be more accessible in that way.
I think the school's going to last longer than we thought because FSD don't bring the car inside the garage all the way. FSD.
Oh, okay.
You need to, at some point, learn how to operate minimally.
Yeah. So FSD is good for highway or getting from point A to point B, yes. But that's a good point. Meaning you still need to kind of get the car out. Like if you're in your parkade or if you're somewhere like that, it would make sense that you kind of take it out. And then once you're out, you would put FSD on to get to the other place. And then when you're to the other place, it's rarely that accurate, right? Even when we put into the Tesla the supercharger, you have the address, you know where it's at on the corner of the street, but you don't have the parking spot location. You have that location. So it's a bit of a wider array, meaning you're still going to need to get there. Like the literal point A, point B, you need to drive it. But then in between, you could use FSD because that's like red lights. Yeah, the quarter mile. Getting out and getting back in. Yeah. Because finding the parking spot, let's call it like that, a parking spot that would suit you. Because you don't yet know what's going to be available when you get there. So you can't already input in the car, like find a parking spot. With AI and all that, it's probably going to be available soon. I mean, you just put your location and it's going to try to find a parking spot as close as possible with the hours, and you're going to be able to say I don't want to pay, I want to pay. I mean, it's going to be like a crazy Waze incorporated with something else. Oh, don't forget that we have a dad joke, right? So you want to stay there for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, Sai, would you want to do this, like a driver school, but without driving? Like with only FSD?
But then you're not learning anything. You're just pushing a button.
Well, yeah, you're learning buttons.
I mean, there are not going to be that many. It doesn't even need to be a course. You go there for 1 hour and then that's it.
So they would be shorter.
Yeah, an hour max. How long does it take to learn some buttons?
Plus, like most kids nowadays know how to operate a cell phone.
Exactly. Buttons are easy for like people now. So yeah.
There would be more like a crash course, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck. So maybe we're gonna get back to exactly how it was before, where we just gave like a driver's license to everybody. So maybe it's gonna be more important to know if you are actually like texting and driving, if you have good eyesight, things like that. But that would be only to kind of get in the car, like for you to purchase the car, to be able to assist drive it, because sooner than later you won't need to drive. But you think that driving schools would stay longer, a bit longer? It's always long, right?
But not that much.
Not that long. But we're definitely gonna need full FSD on most cars before driving schools become completely obsolete. This is definitely what's gonna happen.
Because the FSD car could park itself on the street.
Yes.
On the parkade. Then
Yeah.
come back to pick you up. So no more parkade.
So no more parkade, no more parking, no more nothing like that.
Find himself a place.
Yeah, because you can just, if it's really autonomous FSD, like you don't need an actual driver, then the car can find a place to park itself. It can drop you off like a valet or like a taxi.
But even the best AI, can it read all the signs?
Yeah, exactly. All the parking signs.
Park from 9 to 5.
So your car gets towed and then you summon it. So it gets out of the place where the bad cars are. It's like it escapes, and it comes and pick you up.
They will never be able to read the signs.
No, they will not.
No parking road in Quebec.
No, they will not be able to read the signs. So the signs are gonna need to be virtual. They're gonna need to be added to an actual software that is updated all the time.
But if he sees a towing, it gets out.
Yeah, yes, exactly. If it sees the towing, it just runs away.
Imagine the parkometer.
Yeah, the meter maid. The meter maid.
Yeah,
This is you push the button. You jailbait it so that every time it sees the meter maid, it drives away. Just like Sai and I, we saw a meter maid. We went and paid downstairs.
Yes.
Yeah, but then before the meter maid was there, we didn't pay.
No, we were debating whether to pay or not.
Yeah, but
then we were too Canadian about it.
Yeah, so we paid.
Yeah, so we paid.
So we paid because we saw the meter maid.
Imagine if
Sure.
the car can go away.
Yeah, the car can just run away. It has like a brain, So I would pay for that. Forget FSD. It's just it runs away from parking tickets. I mean, this is great.
City's gonna manage to pay taxes.
I don't know. They're gonna need to find another way. Maybe they charge us more, for insurance and stuff like that, for city infrastructure. This is good.
Next podcast, FSD will save you tickets.
FSD will save you tickets. Coming up next on While You Wait, the podcast brought to you by Piper and
Sai.
on Two Girls, One Electric Car. Make sure you subscribe. So we got Trevor Turek who says crash course. Hope you have insurance for that. Well, yeah, okay, crash course, but not like a crash course. But it is funny. It's funny. Okay, so here we have Alok Shaham who says since the FSD cars tend to error
On the as in like they're cautious about they stay on the safer side.
Oh, maybe the incentive to learn driving would be for people who are already in a rush or want to drive faster. Are they really on the safer side? Because I saw a car, and seriously, it was not safe. I would have never tried what that car tried. That was a Tesla full FSD, and it took its mirror, pulled them in, and then there was somebody crossing the street, and it just like went for it, and it was like, I'm gonna fit in there, no matter how tight it is, I'm gonna make it fit. And I was like, I would have never like pulled my mirrors in to pass into an alley, like maybe to park the car, but to pass into an alley, the vehicle literally pulled its mirror in. Brass balls, that FSD. So, and usually, you see somebody trying to cross or like coming to cross, you're gonna stop even though there's enough time. FSD was just like, nope, Like you're this person is crossing, but I've got time. I've calculated it, so I'm just gonna go. And I was like, whoa! I would have been scared for my feet, you know. This is so. I don't know. It depends on who you ask, I guess, and what did you see on FSDs? It is safer. FSD is safer because it calculates these risks. It calculates everything, meaning that maybe I am just too much of a wuss, and FSD is just calculating in a better way than I, so it can be not less safe. It can just do these things that seem crazier to me that I wouldn't do because I feel like I can't make it. But FSD calculates that it can, so it just does it. It doesn't second guess. It's not like, oh, I'm not sure. No, it doesn't have that type of brain. It doesn't fear. It's literally just AI. Garmin is a GPS, right? Already has sign popping up when coming to the corners. Oh, that's cool. I mean, we need more of this type of technology where parking signs and all of these things would be definitely implemented into an application or into GPSs.
Everybody scan everything. So
Yeah, now with Sentry mode or with all of that,
be able to understand.
we should be. It's too complicated, and I understand like cities depend on that to make money, but we just make us pay more for parking and make us stop getting ticketed. I mean, this can work. There's many other ways we can make money.
And now your car can run away.
And now your car can run away if you have the means to get a car that runs away.
I want FSD.
Everybody wants FSD now. Everybody wants FSD now. So the car is a better driver. Supposedly, yes. So far, FSD is a better driver than a human. It is safer. And then we have Make a Mark, who says FSD saved me a good amount of speeding tickets. Well, see, that's good for you. Also, narrow roads going in between cars. Sometimes I turn on FSD because it's so good at not hitting other cars. But it's true.
Compared to my wife.
Well, because FSD literally sees both sides. I mean, it has eyes everywhere, which you don't. So even though you know your perspective and you know your sizing pretty well, there's for sure FSD is gonna be better than you. And then Snoopy says FSD must be a male. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. No problem. There's no offense taken. No offense taken. Now, Robin Petit says Aptera will have Sentry mode as well. So Aptera is the solar-powered electric vehicle that is supposedly coming out very soon, and Robin Petit has invested in that. So he's saying machine learning has solved the ability to read signs and documents. I've done some work in this area. But it makes a lot of sense that if we all have cameras on our vehicles, the vehicle would know more than us how to analyze. Yeah, it needs to be tested in Montreal because Montreal is a crazy city to park. There's like always a sign that you did not see that was on the ground, whatever, and that makes it so that you could not park there for like the 30 minutes you were there. But then all the rest is okay. You can park there.
An eclipse, another thing.
Yeah, it's always like it's just so trivial. Yeah, EVs. Yeah, RP, we are of course talking about driving schools and how driving schools hate EVs. Maker Mark says I ordered an Aptera, but it's so hard for me to actually buy it because I can get a used Model 3 for the same price. Yeah, it's a good point. The Aptera is what, like $30-something thousand? That's on the website. Meaning that yes, you could get a used Model 3 for that price, for sure. And again, it's a very different technology, right? You have solar power, you can plug it in too, but you can get the 4-wheeler, you can get the 3-wheeler. It's a different type of car. Like a Model 3 would be more family sedan. Now you can sit more people in there, for sure. Tesla already have a proven track record. They have the infrastructure for the charging, and they also do great with anything related to maintenance. And their application is just awesome for everything you might need, like servicing or anything like that. So I guess it depends. Like the Aptera is at an early adopter stage, whereas the any Tesla, maybe except for the Cybertruck, would be more as a mass production stage right now. So it's more trusted. It's more people have it, and that's why they're coming in cheaper too right now if you buy used. And that's why I bought my Model X 2016 used. I had it for a good price, better than if I would have bought it new, for sure. And it's still electric, and it still has some amazing like technological features in it. RP says send FSD to driving school. Yeah, and let's see what it does. I want to be able to sleep in my car and for it to drive someday. I think most people are, that's what they're aiming at. Like to have really, really like cars that can just drive and you can be a passenger in them and never a driver or an assistant driver or co-pilot in that way. Sai, you have a dad joke for us, right?
I do. It has nothing to do with any of this.
Okay, great. Thank you for warming the crowd up. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Why did the scientists didn't trust the atoms?
Why did the scientists
not trust atoms?
Did not trust the atoms?
No.
They're too volatile?
No.
They hit each other too much? Why did the scientists not trust the atom? Because it can make bombs. Okay, I don't know.
Because they make up everything.
They do make up everything, right? They do. Us, the world, the entirety.
A good one.
Oh, it's cute. Next Power already knew this one. It's amazing. Okay, for more dad jokes, more information about electric vehicles, while you wait for your lunch to be cooked, for your workday to be over, or for that bus to just get there, we are here to entertain you with electric vehicle news. So make sure that while you wait, you click on the playlist podcast. Podcast playlist. Doesn't matter. PP. Click on it and listen to it while you wait. If you have an electric vehicle, well, you definitely want to tune in and bring in more people that want to talk about electric vehicles. This is so interesting and so much fun. We'll see you in the next one. Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely, there is no way that driving schools will exist when there's gonna be like passenger seat cars. We won't need any of that.